All right.
Yeah, buddy.
It wasn't a bullcrap pay-per-view to watch this Sunday, so we're a little bit late getting the show out. But that's just how we do things. So that's just something you might have to get used to.
Yeah, it's what's up, man.
We're still in the same studio recording space. Our backdrop's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you can still hear, and the sound isn't totally screwed up. But
It's not Garth Brooks in the Benz.
Yeah, in the Benz Dome. But I'm Jared, by the way.
Hey, Josh, just hit the table. Sorry about that.
That's just what we have to deal with.
It's our special effects.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit of a hangover after the Georgia game on Saturday, and Sunday here was just like crazy cold. And the second I took one step out of the house, I was like, I'm not doing anything today. So that's another thing that happened, but that's just how it goes.
That sounds about right to me, man. I was incredibly chilly, frozen cold, man. And it is strange. I think we've talked about this before on the show, and if not, we'll talk about it here, man. I am obviously around the rep Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. The thing is that I despise the University of Florida so much, and for really no reason other than that I just absolutely positively hate them. I'm very pleased that Georgia beat them. I'm happy that Georgia drug them, and also this goes back to the Tennessee game. Pretty sure that there are two guys on your screen right now that said this is part one of a two-part story.
It's no team that we'd rather beat than Florida.
It's the truth. As a Tech fan, I will tell you, it's the truth. We're supposed to get all offended over rivalries and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's like, here's the thing. I say this all the time. Georgia's biggest rival is Florida, and I guess how do I explain it? I don't know how to explain. I think
if it was a conference game like it used to be, maybe it would be.
Maybe I think it probably would be. My explanation is simply this, man. I don't understand Tech fans getting upset that Florida's the biggest rival any more than I would get upset at Georgia fans thinking that they are Florida's biggest rival, because you're not. It's Florida State, 365. That's the only game they care about.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those weird things where we all get divided up.
Everybody's got that one team
that they just hate beyond hate.
Have this hard on for beating.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And the good thing about it is that there aren't many times I can say that we beat them the way that we did Saturday. I was really hoping we would get 50 on them.
I wanted.
And then when we got to 50, I was like, man, let's get 56.
I wanted Kirby Smart to get to talk about putting half 100 on the Gators so bad. I probably made that reference 4 times during the game. It's like, God, please get 50. Please get 50. Just because you know.
Yeah.
If you then go full Spurrier and tell the camp, well, I mean, you never pass up on an opportunity to put half 100 on the Gators. It would be, people would freak out forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And it was awesome, though, man. Mainly just because it was deserved, because Georgia's really played well. And also, this whole Florida boogeyman, they may be the number 3 team in the country, but they can't beat Florida. Things change. Yeah. I'm as sorry as I can be, man. New regime, new coaching staff, new players, new day. It was coming. And Florida stinks. They have been overrated. Florida is probably the most consistently overrated team, not called Louisiana State. No offense, Daniel, but you got to be kidding me. You lose to Troy and you're still in the top 25. Get out of here. That is ridiculous.
But that being said, beating Florida, going into playing South Carolina, and I was like, oh man, it's just that South Carolina for Georgia has just always been one of those teams that it doesn't matter who's coaching there, doesn't matter who it is, just seems to, one year or the other, each of us has the number. And they might draw it this year. Who knows? But I don't think that's going to happen. It just you make notice of it. When you have them coming up on the schedule. I like having them scheduled at this time of the year and not at the front end.
At the beginning, like always. I can see that.
I like that that's happened, but nonetheless, it's like, oh man.
Yeah, it's strange.
South Carolina's coming.
It's weird. There's a lot of apprehension in the fan base that it'll take a little while to go away, but the players are very different than they once were. It's different. It's not that hangover stuff anymore. So I'm with you. I'm very, very happy they beat Florida.
Yeah,
and I'm quite happy with the playoff rankings. We discussed this.
Anytime you can kind of hang it on your hat that you beat them handily and this next week their coach gets fired. It's like, oh, that's just extra sweet.
Yeah, as the tech guy, our claim to fame in that front is getting Lane Kiffin fired at USC.
Yeah.
It was point blank. There was none of this, well, he said there were death. Stop. I can't stand that stuff. Shoot straight. First of all, you hired a dud because the guy's been overrated the whole time he's been there.
Looking for an excuse to get rid of him from the get-go.
Absolutely, because
glad that he gave
because
you
they
one.
picked the wrong guy. Exactly, man. So my thing with that is, I told the man, I will tell you guys now. There's this long epistle that I wrote to a friend of mine about Mark Richt getting fired, and basically the short version of it is that this is why you exhale and you relax. It's going to be fine. Kirby Smart, I think, is the guy to get you over the hump. 2 to 3 seasons, you'll be very, very happy that you got this done. The other, ulterior is the word I got stuck in there, but that's not it. The unintended bonus of sending Mark Richt to Miami is this. The fact of the matter is that the University of Florida is the Little Sisters of the Poor in that state. They just are. I know it's the SEC school, and heaven forbid you say that, but they are last to the trough all the time. Unless something special happens. And that is Florida State or Miami or both
Gets back on the cocaine.
being on probation. They're not right now. So Jimbo Fisher's going to beat you to everybody. Mark Richt's going to beat everybody to everybody. And I told her, I was my buddy Beth. I said, just keep your eyes on Florida recruiting because you're going to see a downtick and a downtick and a downtick. Because now the ACC is protected property too. Florida State and Miami aren't going to get suspended. Just if you like this stuff and if you actually follow it and you understand the TV contract stuff, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
As soon as, especially Florida State, nothing's ever going to happen to them. But when those guys are protected, Florida's not going to be able to recruit anybody. They're just not. Gainesville is not that happening of a place. It's just one of those things that you saw coming, and it's like, this is kind of nice and kind of fun. And I just hate Florida because they're so overrated all the time.
I guess one of the things that makes you kind of question doing it now is kind of like, man, who are you going to get?
I truly think that who they want, I mentioned this too, the other thing as far as like doing it right now is because whoever they go after is going to be someone Tennessee wants too.
Seems like another transitional person anyway.
Tennessee is locked into Butch Jones at least till the end of the season, apparently. So if you want to get your feelers out there and you want to find that guy, I think that's what it's. I think it's a timing thing. We that's the same thing before with like Georgia hiring Kirby Smart. The reason they fired Mark Richt and hired Kirby Smart when they did is because a week earlier South Carolina had tried to get him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. Tennessee and Florida both are going to have vacancies at the end of the year if you want to get your name out there first and try to bring whoever's coming in. That's cool. The thing is, though, you're going to have to find somebody that's got no problem being a pinata for Nick Saban.
The time of the season makes sense. I just don't know if there's any good candidates out there. Why not wait till somebody better comes along to make that move? Is what I'm thinking.
I think they've got their eyes on somebody and they want to talk to him before they get to Tennessee.
That's
Cool.
cool.
I think Tennessee is really looking at Gruden. They both want Chip Kelly. That's the thing is they're both going to be going. I don't get it either, but boy, I would love to see Chip get rolled because I hate that guy. But I gut feeling that's who they're after. And you keep hearing Scott Frost at UCF too, but I'm pretty sure Scott Frost is going to be in Lincoln next year. He's a Nebraska kid. That job is going to be open. I'm pretty sure he's going back because ain't nobody would leave the SEC. You're wrong. People would take Big Ten jobs over the SEC any day of the week because the money is comparable, except for King Nick. But the main thing is, Ohio State's still Ohio State, and it's boring. But you're not polishing the ring quite as often. And that's the big problem, man, with like the TV contracts, what ESPN's tried to do, because they've made so many mistakes during this entire thing. Now their latest one is trying to make Alabama Clark Kent. It's a mistake because you're just not going to get great coaches to come. When's the last time they got one? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get people to come and polish his ring. You're just not. Pac-12 money is good. Big Ten money is good, and I've said it for years now, man, and I'll stand by it. What do we keep hearing? Who's the big mover and shaker getting themselves back in a position to play in the playoff? Of course it's Ohio State. Now, I would like to know why I haven't heard one word about Oklahoma, who absolutely took a crap on Ohio State, and now, well, they lost to Iowa State. And Iowa State just got their second top 5 scalp of the year. Where's the talk?
Yeah.
Every 4 years, you must side up with Ohio State, side up with Notre Dame, or side up with both of them, because the simple fact of the economics of college football is this. ESPN put all their money in the Southeastern Conference basket. You cannot sell SEC football to anybody that does not live in this region, and this region will not support you, especially not to the tune of $7.5 billion. You must do Notre Dame,
Might have oversold that one.
who is the national college football team, or you must do Ohio State, who you have turned into the Steinbrenner-esque evil empire. It's the simple truth. It's the reason Ohio State won the first one. It's always going to be the case. One of those two teams is going to have to get involved at least every 4, pretty much every 3 years. And it's frustrating and ridiculous, but you have to do that, again, to flesh out all those years that you decide Clemson and Alabama's a good idea and nobody watches it either year. The other thing that you have to do as far as Ohio State and the Big Ten are concerned is you can't let them leave. People don't think that's real. That's real. That's 100% real. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 have spoken openly about merging, leaving the NCAA, and paying the kids to come play college football. And you cannot have that happen if you're ESPN, because ESPN did not pick the SEC over the Big Ten. The Big Ten left. That is the huge thing that you have to remember. People keep trying to act like the Big Ten's the jilted bride. It's the other way around. 100%. Yeah, we're going to do this Big Ten network. Well, not on our airwaves, you're not. Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Ooh, they've been smarting ever since.
Yeah.
Smarting ever since. But you can't let the Big Ten get out
Well,
because there's too much money there. There's too much money there. Those degrees are too valuable. The schools are too – the degrees being valuable, what I mean is people that get degrees from Michigan, from Illinois, from Northwestern, those are 3 unbelievable schools. Wisconsin's pretty dang good too. If you get degrees from there, you're valuable to employers, but not necessarily to just employers in the state that you got that degree. And there's your television contract.
Yeah.
That's the deal. People that have degrees from Tuscaloosa pretty much live in Alabama, Tennessee, and maybe Georgia. That's always been. That's the thing. I know we're talking about way different stuff now, man, but the business is what it's all about anyway. And it's why is it Ohio State every year? That's why. Frustrating and stupid as it is, that's why. You have to throw a bone to some Big Ten school, preferably the one that you created, or Notre Dame. You got to do it. Got to do it. Speaking of Notre Dame, we talked about this, and no one will believe it, and that's okay, because you don't have to, because I got no proof. But anyway, it's cool. Playoff rankings came out today.
Oh, yeah.
And they put Georgia at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to somebody on 929. His name's Andy Bunker. This is my favorite show. It's great. Andy Bunker and Jarvis Davis, they're my guys. And they were talking last night, and Andy proffered. I was on the phone. It was ringing. And Andy starts talking about how, Georgia might be number 1 in this thing. Because I've been saying that since the Florida game. And I was going to call up and say the same thing. And once he did, I'm like, brother, you already got it.
Yep.
And his reasons were exactly the reasons that I said as well. So perfect. So perfect. And it's because there's 2 reasons. One, that Notre Dame win is more impressive than anything Alabama's done all year.
Yep.
I said 2 reasons. There's actually 3, but there's one. The second one, and this is the main one, this is 4 years in a row. This is the cutesy poo garbage the committee likes to do to be like, oh, that was a shakeup. Didn't see that one coming, did you guys? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody loves the gotcha moment. We all love the red wedding. We all love Vince McMahon. It's pathetic, but we love the gotcha, didn't see that one coming thing. People just live for that now. That's what they do. And the committee has done it 4 years in a row. The teams that go in as AP number 1 are not number 1 when that first thing comes out. So the shakeup, it plays into college football. Because how many times do you hear people say, oh, it's the controversy. Oh, the controversy. That's what makes college football great, is the controversy. It's the only thing that you have to sell. The NFL is becoming an outdated product anyway. I mean, it's great here, but you can't sell it anywhere else. Yeah. You're talking about a version of that same product that, God, a quarter of the people that are using this one even care about? Big mistake. Trying to make your junior NFL was a huge mistake, primarily because you won't pay the kids. Because once you get the Super League and they're paying kids, then you'll see something. But anyway, all that stuff is kooky, and I've gotten way afield, and I'm sorry about that. But them being number 1 makes total sense. We did those 2 reasons. The third reason is you can always put Alabama back up there. And if they stay exactly as they are going right now, they're going to play in Atlanta anyway. Yeah. It's fine. It's no problem.
It's a collision course.
Yeah, it's fine. Alabama doesn't have to be number 1 every day of the world for, the sun to come up tomorrow. And it's more controversy anyway. Like we said, we talk about it all the time with negative tweets. Why does WWE say nothing about Lance Russell dying? because the traffic you'll get on Twitter for people killing you is way more valuable than anything you would have gotten if you'd said anything.
Yeah.
Why are Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega constantly burying each other on Twitter? Because it gets idiots talking.
Yeah.
It's the reason AJ Styles is booked the way he's booked. It's the reason Shinsuke Nakamura is booked the way he's booked. It's the reason Kane beats Finn Balor clean.
Yeah.
People get talking and fussy, and that's how you generate that money. Same thing. If you made Alabama number one, nobody would care. But I guarantee you the whole state's blown up. No, it's not right. I'm nobody number one. I'm done. All right.
We're talking about WWE stuff and some of the shakeups. Is by now most of you have heard that some of the releases that were given this past week wasn't necessarily a shock, because more of the shock was just some of the people that were still there. It's like, that dude was still there?
You still get released, yeah, man.
And then, but I guess the one that wasn't necessarily a surprise, but everybody felt bad, is like you have Emma gone, Darren Young, and Summer Rae. And Summer Rae and Darren Young, people were just kind of, well, wasn't this just a matter of time? But Emma was the one to like, maybe she was finally getting something together, and they were going to do something with it. Then they kind of realized, no, we're not. So it's like, well, that kind of stinks. But I think she's the type of person that can move on and do movies if she wanted to, go somewhere else if she wanted to. I don't know if Darren Young and Summer Rae will be able to do that, but they might for a few weeks anyway.
I think Darren and Summer are products. This is a weird thing about WWE kids versus indie kids. The WWE kids have nowhere to go. They don't, because absolutely nobody outside of WWE wants that style of performer, that style of wrestler, nothing. But Emma, like we talked about before, man, she's one of those. I think we were discussing it with, for Pete's sake, man, Neville, and how Neville, Becky Lynch, these people worked their way to being seen by the company and then being hired by the company. So if they want to stay in the business, they'll be fine. Emma will be totally fine. I hate it because I really liked her, and I think that the roster needs more people like that. At the same time, man, if she was just going to be jobbing, maybe she didn't want to do it. It's one of those strange things about how there's no veterans left. Nobody's still around to actually – we've discussed that many times before, and it drives me crazy. Sorry, my alarm's going off. There we go. Now I can talk. Sorry. But yeah, I just
anytime they make it just overwhelmingly clear that you're just not the one that we're gonna pick.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you know what? And I won't pick you.
Yeah, I think it kind of has that crossover thing with like people trying to act like Roman Reigns is a new invention, and it just seems to me very weird to not understand that it's because you're piggybacking off John Cena. People got so sick of that, they just pick up where they left off on the new guy.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's kind of the same thing, like when you see Sami Zayn, who immediately loses to Randy Orton 1 week after the face turn. Boy, that made sense. And you've seen Dolph Ziggler, and you've seen Zack Ryder, and you've seen Cesaro.
Finn Balor. What
You've
we're talking about.
Finn now, yeah. But like marginal talents. That Finn is a little bit different. We'll get there in a second. But right here, and just a push away from being something significant, it's like, well, you see how those people are treated. And it's the same thing. We were talking about the Leo Rush tweet that everybody's killing him for. But and I don't mean to defend Leo. It's just I don't know if this was the case or not. I know the first thing that I saw about Emma was kind of what you were just saying a minute ago, was that she'd asked to be released. Yeah. His tweet's a lot funnier if she wants out. If she gets fired, like it turned out she did, that I understand people killing him for it, and maybe he knew, and if he did know, that's whatever. But at the same time, you've been there about 6 minutes. But Leo Rush, he's not going to get Baron Corbin. You better believe it. If Leo is going to get in trouble for this, there's going to be trouble. So don't feel bad. He'll get his. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that she was one of the people that wanted to go, and then it turned out that wasn't the case. But if she wants to still wrestle, she can do it. The rest of them, though, there's a couple. That's pretty much my guideline on that. Like if you are one of theirs, you might have a problem getting a job. You have to be like a Cena level, and I mean John's not going anywhere because he doesn't need to. But if we were talking about that 1 day contract stuff, dude, New Japan would back up the truck to get him over there for a day. They would love that. So it's not like it's impossible. It's just that the guys that never broke through and became that, it'd be a lot harder for them to get a job. So,
got a Survivor Series show to look forward to that nobody's really looking forward to. And one of the things that keeps annoying me with every chance I get, it's the one time of the year where Raw and SmackDown take on each other, except for the Royal Rumble and except for WrestleMania. Like, but
it's the one. It's the one.
But it's the one time, and whenever else we feel like it, when there's a viral meningitis outbreak, and we need somebody to come over. But this is the only time.
But this is it.
You gotta watch it. Come on, guys.
Awful.
Nobody wants to watch Gender. Come on. What am I gonna do?
It's bizarre. That's like the only thing that I do want to see. It's weird. I think that I like Alexa and Natalie because, as I've said many times on the show, I like Alexa working with vets. That's cool.
It's good for her.
Anybody young, anybody that young, it's good for them to work with veterans. That's cool. Rollins and Ambrose with the Usos. I feel like I should be more excited about it than I am.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Roman Reigns as the guest referee. That was just funny.
I just don't like Rollins and Ambrose having the tag belts for some reason. There's something about that is like, why?
It is
Why do they need that?
1,000% unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's just what they always do. That was always my problem with RKO. My problem with Team Hell No. You just have your two individuals. When you give them the tag belts, it's like, it's supposed to be a division, you moron. I hate that. Who else? The elimination, like the Survivor Series match, I never care about those. Who cares? As far as I know, it's just Randy Orton and
against everybody.
And Braun Strowman. As far as I know, they're the only ones. Miz versus Baron Corbin, attempting to have the worst match in the history of mankind. I cannot.
It's gonna be.
I can't imagine that thing being worth a crap. I just can't.
I've got a feeling they're gonna change that matchup because they seem to keep bringing up every chance they get. It's like, well, they have to get to the show with the belt, or they could be beaten. It just seems like they're gonna change that one up.
I hope so because, good God, first things first, from a WWE standpoint, who you booking to lose? It's two of their favorite guys. Baron has to go over because he's younger, but it's like, well, y'all love both of them so much. God forbid either one of them lose to anybody. So
can both of them lose?
That'd be fascinating if they could. Who else is on that darn show? I can't even think now.
They'll probably add something.
But Jinder and Brock, I can't wait. I can't, as long as they book it correctly. Because again, if you don't. It's going to go one of two ways. If Brock wins, then you'll just see Jinder do what Brock's been doing the last 6 months and the rebound. And it's like, man, if you guys think you're sick of him now,
you're really going to hate this guy.
Yeah, because they're just going to run back through everybody. You know, getting to beat Nakamura a couple more times and getting to beat AJ a couple of times. And it's like, okay. But what I'm hoping they're going to do is have Jinder beat him because it's just so much funnier. You get so much more mileage out of that, in my opinion. And they've already shown time and again with Brock, man, you can just book him right back to being Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter. And he'll go right on and beat Finn up because that's all Finn does now is lose. So.
Doesn't it make more sense to have the one time a year that Raw and SmackDown meet and you're only doing championship matches? Isn't that what Clash of the Champions? Doesn't it make more sense to do that there? Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know.
I like the idea. I think that's kind of cool, man. I like
especially it's everything's non-title, and you're basically it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you're WWE, and you hate anything remotely WCW and Clash of Champions is that you hate it so much. Why don't you do it there? Do the show that nobody wants to see there.
Yeah, seriously. The only thing I can think of that would be kind of cool, actually, is if you have, let's say Jimmy and Jay beat the Shield. Their Clash of Champions is coming up, like December. I mean, that's not next week, but it's close.
Yeah.
What if you win the non-title match and then it's all like, wow, Unified would be fun. It'd be fun to be the champ of both, so let's do it again. So then you have a title match, and that'd be kind of cool. Take the one that you like the best, which I'm assuming is going to be the tag match, and make it forward. Now, it would not surprise me a bit if that is the plan with Alexa and Natalie, because I mean, they're you've seen it. They are full-on David Pumpkins for Alexa Bliss, man. 73 out of 100 floors is Alexa Bliss. Yeah. So her having both those belts would not surprise me one bit. Not one bit. Now, it's a lot of travel, but it's going across the street pretty much. Yeah, just be on one show every other week. And, I mean, she is the women's division. That's all they care about, which that's why I dislike her so much, because you've never had a better division. So why, of all the times to pick one person, This is the time that's been least necessary because there's a lot of good talent there, but we don't care.
Speaking of David Pumpkins, and we're actually doing this on Halloween night. He had the David Pumpkins animated special Saturday night, and it was just god awful to me. I didn't like it at all.
Sure was. And I watched about 3 minutes of it, and then just went and watched the skit.
I mean, first of all, it's animated. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But you can kind of see like, well, I just really didn't have anything, and it felt like it was one of the kind of things like, well, we've got a week to get this done, so we have to do it now.
For real.
And it's like, man, it just wasn't very good. So it's bad when a bad SNL sketch gets its entire movie, and you feel it's kind of just raked over the coals and just spread out as thin as it can go. This was in like 30 minutes, and you're like, oh, okay, this just isn't funny anymore.
It's true. The original David Pumpkins still is, though. You can always bail yourself out and go watch that because that's exactly what I.
So that's what it's good because that's always there.
Absolutely. About 2 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty well done with this. This is no good. And then actually, the thing was, the little SNL Halloween special came on after, and it was on there. So just stick around; it'll be on.
Yeah. It's gonna make sense
for real, man.
And speaking of rehashes and stuff that oh God, do we really need to do this? But I couldn't decide if I should get excited of this about or not. But I don't know if you've heard, but it's the rumor that's been floated around and supposedly is a full-on go is after Arnold gets done with doing Terminator 6, and I'll be the first. I sound like I'm talking crap about it. I'm the only person I know that liked Terminator Genesis, so I'm already looking forward to Terminator 6. But because I think James Cameron's going to be like a producer or advisor or whatever. Linda Hamilton's supposedly coming back, and Schwarzenegger will be back because he never leaves. But the rumors are that right after Terminator 6, he has signed on to do the sequel to Twins.
Glorious.
The sequel to Twins is going to be called Triplets. And what that means is you'll have Arnold Schwarzenegger reprising his role that we've all been waiting. So when are we going to get another Twins?
His glorious role.
So you'll have Schwarzenegger, and you'll have Danny DeVito, the third brother in the Twins.
Leslie Jones.
You're closer than you think. You're closer than you think.
It should be Leslie Jones.
I thought that would have been a good idea. Is, okay, you're going to do a triplet, have it be a female, have it be a lady. Or, God forbid, to move on to their kids.
I thought you were going to say, or God forbid, don't make the movie.
No.
Oh my gosh, no. Do not put these words in my mouth.
Supposedly who's going to be the third brother in the triplets is Eddie Murphy. What do you think about that?
I hope they make a lot of money.
Just your thoughts.
I hope they make a lot of money because I like all three of those guys. But boy, they're not getting my $750.
Oh man,
terrible.
I mean, I guess the idea is to try to basically take. We'll take the Vincent character and totally make him Danny DeVito's character from Always Sunny. So he won't be anything like the original. And Lucius or whatever Schwarzenegger's character's name was in the original will just be. There's no need to change that. Yeah.
Like full garb and everything.
No idea as to what the story's going to be. Right now it's just kind of like, man, what could you do stage? But the first I heard of it, I was kind of like, I guess there's worse ideas out there, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if we should do this one. I don't know about that, bro.
I'm very disappointed in myself, man, because I wish that when you asked me what my thoughts were, that my first instinct would have been to say, well, who's directing?
Yes.
As though it has a chance to not be a big old turd circling the bowl.
Speaking of directing, it reminds me of another movie rumor that I heard was this is basically College Humor predicting the future all the way back. I think it was 2012. They did, and you can look it up. It is straight up legit. Not a word of it a lie. They did a joke live action version of Michael Bay directing Dora the Explorer.
Oh yeah, that's
happening.
yeah. I've heard that rumor as well.
And this not a April Fool's joke. No, nothing. Like, come on, guys. That's a full on.
This is Shoot Brother.
Yeah, a Shoot Brother. But that's the skit that, like, okay, this was funny as the skit. Are we really going to be able to make this over a movie? And knowing his ass, several movies. I mean, I'm really going to be able to sit through this for 2 hours, and that's the movie that will not get my 750.
I can dig it.
By gum.
Yeah, I'll go watch Twins. I'll go watch Triplets a couple times before I watch that one.
Triplets twice. And
Six doublets.
what do you think about the news that came out this week of they cast the role in Shazam?
I missed it actually. I've heard so many rumors about who was going to play Shazam, but I haven't heard the final tick.
Yeah, honestly, when I heard the casting, one of my first thoughts was just because it's
Leslie Jones.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How did you know?
I'm getting her in something. I like Leslie. She's crazy for David Pumpkins. Of course, I like her.
Just because you're cast as a lead role in Shazam does not necessarily mean that you indeed have to be Shazam. Isn't that the whole deal? Is he says Shazam and changes, and so a guy that doesn't necessarily look like Captain Marvel, it can't be called that. That's a copyright infringement. That's gonna the better movie that comes out is gonna be called Captain Marvel, so they can't use it anyway. If you're the guy who says Shazam and you get changed, you don't necessarily have to be the guy that plays that character. I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's what they have in mind.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because
it's Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. As far as I know, I'm with you. I think that's how that character works.
The casting that's come out as of right now is Zachary Levi.
Okay.
The dude from Chuck a few years ago, the dude from Thor, what was that one called?
The
Dark World.
Yeah, okay. Thor the Dark Man. Thor and Dark Man in a movie together, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Man, Liam Neeson coming back to do, okay, he can do another action movie if they do another Dark Man.
Yeah, I can dig that. We're closed.
We're closed. But Dark Man is one of those movies that you kind of go back and watch it now. It's kind of like, I remember this being way cooler. Man, what happened?
What was I thinking?
Oh, Jesus. But Zachary Levi, and that's been the instant review that everybody says, like, well, he better beef up. Like, y'all, don't worry, it's going to be okay. We'll get him on the gas.
First things first, HGH is a hell of a drug, so don't worry.
Don't worry about that. It's not like he's, a small guy to begin with. But I think that might be kind of the plan, is to have him be the dude, and then once he says Shazam, have somebody else come in. I think that could work.
I love that idea. I've had that idea not that idea, I'm sorry, but the idea of I'm with two-tiered casting on that is cool. I think that's totally fine.
As far as I know, it's still the plan is for The Rock to be Black Adam.
Yeah.
And, but you got to do something to get some levity in those DC movies. And wouldn't that be a good way to do it? Is to have the alter ego cast and then the hero cast as somebody else. I mean, something to make these interesting, because something else that we talked about earlier is like there's been a lot of trailers come out for some stuff that's really got me excited. I'm looking really forward to Thor Ragnarok.
I finally caught up. I'm definitely with you on that.
Looking crazy forward to Last Jedi.
Oh, God, yeah.
I haven't seen a frame of a trailer of the Justice League to make me say, like, you know what? you know what? I'm going to go check that out.
I'm the exact same.
I can't
way.
wait.
Every single little snippet I've seen, I've been like, oh boy. And it's not like
we've been right all along.
Exactly. It's not that I'm changing my mind because I was never going to go watch it anyway. It's that I'm concerned again for the DC kids. I don't want Wonder Woman to be the last blip on the little, I don't know what the machine is called that does heart rate, but it's like they got that one moment. Yeah, they got that one moment. They got to be so happy, and it's
some
like,
life there.
Please pay attention to what's going on here. But no.
Yeah.
We get the Justice League preview that looks like the Suicide Squad preview, which was a knockoff of Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like, y'all, come on, man, come on.
Man, I think one of the things that we're gonna when history looks back at the movie Wonder Woman, it's just really there was a lot of, we just wanted it so bad to be good and to give some hope to those movies that have no hope.
That was my, that's me with freaking Attack of the Sith.
Yeah.
I am absolutely convinced the reason that so many people to this day gush over that movie is because they dug their heels in and decided, damn it, I'm getting something out of it. Yes, I'm getting something out of this.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I mean,
I agree that's possible. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman. But
Wonder Woman is, I will sit here and tell you, face to face, eye to eye, where do you want me to look?
Where y'all at?
Where do you want me to look, brother? Where you at, brother? It's the best one that they've done.
Sure.
It's not as good as they say it is, though. It's a fine movie when you're judging it against the other DC movies. When you judge it against the other Marvel movies, kind of like, it's way down the rungs of the ladder.
Well, it's the impression that I got from everybody that's not just DC mad, simply because, critics loved Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next Marvel movie? Homecoming.
Oh shit!
How'd that do critically?
Oh Jesus!
You see what I mean? It's like there's not these people. That's not this like crazy conspiracy theory that nobody wants DC movies to make money. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's just A and B style of movie making, because Iron Man really did come up with this new mold as far as how to make comic book movies, and Marvel keeps pushing them out. DC is still operating on the, Tim Burton's Batman made us how much money?
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's it's just a difference of ideology for who's pumping them out and what framework they want to operate within. That's really the only difference, because the whole, DC's drama and Marvel's comedy, that's the books. And it's cool. It's a good description of the books, man. It really is. But it's, the movies are different because the studios are different. That's what's up with that.
Man, I just, another thing we were talking about earlier is one of the tweets that I love about talking about The Last Jedi coming out. And it's, it was some highfalutin interviewer from one of the magazines that was like, when it was the day, the big football game where the trailer dropped and where everybody got to see a little bit more of it, and the next day they were just tweeting out like, but who's the Last Jedi? And they never thought that the actual director of the movie would come along behind and be like, y'all, it's Luke. We've told you it's Luke for a while now, so don't worry, we're still probably going to kill it. He didn't say that. I added that. But it's talking about the Star Wars stuff. I'm even coming around with I don't even know what the little gerbil looking things are. Those, I don't hate those as much as everybody does.
That's fine.
But I mean, come on. I mean, there's gonna be something kid related.
There is going to be a Disney Store exclusive in everything Star Wars.
The Star Wars.
If that bothers you, just don't go.
When those characters go ape crap and just start wasting a couple of stormtroopers, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I promise.
It's all gravy, man. The idea of no kids allowed is just, it's something that as a Return of the Jedi guy I've been dealing with pretty much forever.
You gotta move on from the Ewoks.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, simply because that's the market.
That's just the way it goes,
It's the
brother.
market. Why do you think Avengers made all that money?
Mm-hmm.
Look, man. The way you make money in movies is children and young girls that will go more than once.
Yeah.
That is how you go bananas making money with a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it.
Bananas.
That's it. That's how you do it. Everyone knows that. I thought everybody knew that. But yeah, I just get really tired. I guess maybe it's because I'm a WWE guy, man. People just losing their minds. Like, it's going to be so kid-friendly. Where are they pitching at the kids? Because that's where the money is, man.
Yeah.
If it bothers you, you better find something else to watch, because it's going to be that's going to be around forever.
Yeah. I guess the one thing
or until they stop selling stock. Sorry, I mean to jump back in there.
yeah.
But yeah, once WWE's Triple H gets 51% of the stock and buys out the rest of the shareholders, then you can have your TV 14 back.
Yeah, and when it comes to Star Wars stuff, and the thing that everybody always points as the thing they hated the most about Attack of the Clones is the one thing I liked in it was not necessarily because it was at the end, just because you finally get to see a lightsaber fight with Yoda. And I thought, what? That's cool. But little did I know it was in Revenge of the Sith. You got too much of it. It's like, okay, this is going on too long with him and the Emperor. Like, come on, let's get to what we all came to see and set Anakin on fire, and we can all go home. But yeah, those are just a set of 3 movies that it took me a long time to admit just how bad the first one was. And once, but at that point, the other 2 had come out, so it was like, well, you know what? Let's just get through these. And everything they've done since then, I've enjoyed. So I will definitely check out the other one this Christmas.
Yeah, I can't wait for Last Jedi, man. And it really is more of the kid complaint thing that I've got, because I think my biggest frustration there is that don't expect it to grow up with you. That's Harry Potter. Yeah. If Harry Potter had a sequel now, do you think they would write it for you, or do you think they would write it for kids to try to hook a new generation to read it?
But I mean,
it'd be the second, and you're not that important, and that's the problem that everybody thinks they are. But in Star Wars world, according to Disney, you are that special. So long as you're cool with going and watching Rogue One, which everybody loved, because that was targeted for grown-up people that grew up on Star Wars. Now you're grown up. Here's a story for you, and it worked.
It was
man.
kind of a trip about an hour into that movie to kind of it dawns on you like, oh yeah, there's a reason why I've never heard of any of these characters. They're gonna die.
Dude, I had that conversation with the people that I went and saw it with, and I'm like, or we were walking out, and people were saying, I just can't believe how bad. And it's like, man, y'all did not get your timeline before you came in here, did you?
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, I did not think that there was anybody on Earth that had not occurred to. But it's cool because again, that's one of those stories where you're not looking to do sequels, and that's why it's so much better if you're going to do that stuff where you want to shoot for the other audience, man. You're not trying to make a new series. You're not trying to make 9 new ones, man. It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I hope they do more. I'm not Han Solo. I couldn't give you 2 flips for, but
Did you hear it has a title?
The Last Jedi. Leslie Jones.
Solo.
That's it. Jeez, man. That's
surely to God they're going to change that, but they thought they really had something like Solo.
Good Lord, that's terrible.
Jesus.
That's pretty bad, man.
No, but one of the cool things that you can see Disney doing since they've had the reins is like they will fire the heck out of somebody if you think you're going to come in and do your wisecracky Lego movie, which is going to put Han Solo in it, going to be blah, 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 blah. They basically had the movie done. They were like, no.
Yeah, that's something that I dig.
This will not be happening.
Well, that's something I dig. We talked about that again with Age of Ultron, man, where Joss Whedon, look at the box office from Avengers 1. And Joss Whedon's an arrogant jerk anyway. I like a lot of his work. I don't like that dude very much. But if you get box office returns like that, you think you're Mr. Carte Blanche. Nope. You'll get your name at the end of this movie, but we're putting the stuff in it that we want, and then you can go the hell home. And that's exactly what they did. And that was the guy that made them that much money. You're exactly right with Star Wars, because Marvel's a big deal, but compared to Star Wars, you are still looking up at those guys. So totally, man, them like cleaning.
Here's the selling point that they tried to sell. They're still trying to sell Justice League. We're like, no, he came in and he helped fix a bunch of the crap.
He fixed Wonder Woman. I've said forever, like all I had to hear was that, man, the thing about Wonder Woman that's so different from the DC movies is you just can't believe the way they talk to each other. It's very interesting how the characters develop a relationship. I'm like, oh, you mean the parts of the story that Joss Whedon wrote 3 years before the Avengers was even a thing? Of course.
I hope he got to Justice League in time to make a difference. It hasn't shown up in the trailers.
I'm with you.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Look, the guy wrote Alien.
I want it to be good, but I will not find out in the theater.
I don't know if I'll ever find out. Period. Because again, I'm like still over here not watching any of them because I'm an idiot. But we'll see. He wrote Alien 4 too, and Alien 4 stinks. So.
You know,
that hurts.
Nothing's a guarantee when it comes to that, dude.
Yeah, it's like the Alien 4 and Dollhouse, man. Like, oh boy.
It's like the Justice League makes the Michael Bay Dora the Explorer movie. Look, it's not that terrible of an idea.
Yeah, man. I feel like we were discussing with this little wall of movies at Walmart, and they were all terrible. But I literally read out the names of every one of them to Jared and explained that I would watch all of those pieces of crap 4 times if it meant I never had to watch Baby Driver. And I can't explain to you why I hate that as much as I do, but there is no way. There is no chance. First of all, I just am not a big fan of ain't crime cool? Haha. I mean, geez, dude, how many decades of this crap do we have to put up with? Oh, I just get so tired of having the same 3 things sold to me, man. Crime is fun and sex is awesome and you should do drugs. I mean, it's like, dude, I'm an old man now. I've already heard all this stuff. Please write something else.
Old man.
Old man. Just somebody write something else. It's like, for God's sake, y'all.
Especially considering, and my bias in that movie is who it came from. And, I like Edgar so much that, I will check it out, but it's not something I got to go out of my way to see.
It's why Edgar Wright's why I'm glad it was successful. Kind of like I was saying with the Twins movie. I hope they do good because I like those guys.
Yeah.
So that part of it was cool, but it's just
kind of like it. Nothing in it that I see we know Edgar does really good soundtracks. Is that really all you go into for the movie to see?
That's all you
listen to the music play.
And it's just we talked about it before about Generation Tarantino apparently now reaching its second. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a mix of hip hop and old '60s pop music. That sounds really familiar to me.
Yeah.
Frustrating, ridiculous. But I would probably watch Baby Driver before I would watch Justice League.
That's fair.
Probably.
Can I watch them together?
Yeah, can I just pile them onto jazz plus jazz equals jazz. Can I just watch both of these at the same time and get it over with?
And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm going to be singing the Tony Clifton Taxi song.
I do like the Tony Clifton Taxi song, man. I'm a big fan of that.
And talking about the crazy Tony Clifton, that's probably one of the things that's going to make me sign up for Netflix again. Is there's a documentary coming out it's called Jim and Andy. And if you're familiar with Jim Carrey and some of the stuff that's coming out from him for the past couple of years, it's really, I think Jim's in trouble. And I don't know how much of this is a work, how much of it is just working this, but like Casey Affleck style. But essentially what the documentary gets into is how filming Man on the Moon and becoming Andy Kaufman drove him crazy. And who knows? I'm interested enough to check it out.
Yeah, man. I have a lot of fun with Carrey, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, if you just hit the internet and read Jim Carrey quotes, maybe being Andy Kaufman made him nuts. I got to tell you, man, he's one of the more lucid people on the plane. He's just a different kind of cat. But his explanation for all of it, I just agree with. All right, I don't agree with because I haven't lived it. I don't know, but it makes sense. He's basically explaining that he went to Hollywood, made a crap ton of money, never became one of the elites, never became one of the insiders, and never really kissed any ass anywhere along the way. So it's way more fun to play this guy like he's this nutty, lunatic, crazy guy. Oh, listen to Carrey, he's a nut. Because he won't carry the political torch for anybody. And I mean anybody because, God, liberals out in Hollywood. Yeah, but you're the one that quote James Woods. Stop. Just don't listen to any of them. And that's kind of what Carrey's thing was like, why do you care who I'm voting for? You can decide for yourself. It's okay. So basically it's like, yeah, that's a conspiracy. They want everyone to think I'm crazy. But I'm just over here hanging out in the woods and having a good old time. Well, I hope that's true, man. I hope so.
It's going to be fun to check out.
Yeah, man.
Got that coming up.
Yeah, I hope he's doing good because I want Jim to do good, man.
So that's what's going down for this week.
Yeah, man.
Well, you got anything else you need to
I think I'm good.
lay down?
I think I'm good. 2018 Atlanta United already can't wait. Already cannot wait, man. That's going to be glorious. It's going to be Bobby Roode.
Who are you, man?
Yeah.
I'm talking about.